now.
Have you ever thought about what might cause species to become endangered? Well, the source of the endangerment of many species is predominantly due to the actions of humans. Humans hunt animals and catch fish for profit. One example, shown here, is how the white man in early American history killed buffalo for their hides, and not many buffalo are around anymore. There are about 350,000. And now with all the new weapons for hunting and more efficient ways to catch fish, everything is made easier to get in the least amount of time possible. Hydrofracturing, as you already learned from Wendy on Tuesday, and I think Emily did a speech on hydrofracking too. It isn't any good for the environment. It may be able to get us natural gas, but once it harms animals and plants and they become endangered, more work is going to have to be done to save them. The chances of losing important plants and animals is far more important than collecting natural gas from the ground. The negative impact deforestation. The negative impact of deforestation has on species is obvious. Animals can no longer live under conditions caused by deforestation. With 70% of Earth's land animals and plants living in forests, many plant species will become endangered or may die, and where are the animals going to go if they can't live in their natural habitat? Many don't even survive. Let's see how humans could endanger aqua species. Common man-made pollutants that reach the ocean include pesticides, herbicides, chemical fertilizers, detergents, oil, sewage, plastics, and other solids. Bags, foam, and other items dumped into the oceans from land or by ships at sea are frequently consumed, with often fatal effects by marine mammals, fish, and birds that mistake them for food. With these harmful objects and pollutants in the water, mammals and plants do and will die, which will cause endangerment. And if you could just hit the lights real quick, please. You can see from this picture, I don't see how any animal can survive. There's like little bits of grass and
maggots
around here, but it's gonna die at some point with that amount of garbage on the land. So it's really bad. The nitrogen-rich fertilizers used by farmers end up in local streams, rivers, and groundwater, and are eventually deposited into estuaries, bays, and deltas. Massive blooms of algae that take oxygen from the water form as a result of the excess nutrients. Now you can see, from this picture, the water you can't even really see through. Like, this is the top of the water, and then this is more of the inside of the water because there's some like destruction here, and it's just really thick even in the water. So only a small amount of marine mammals can live with a lack of oxygen and further die or luckily find a new home. But this could certainly result in the endangerment of a species. So how do we fix the possible endangerment of species by humans? Well, many regulations and acts are in effect to help decrease the amount of damage done to species. Less littering would help. Garbage belongs in the trash, not on the ground or water. As far as deforestation goes, loggers shouldn't totally wipe out a piece of land. They should only take a small amount so species can still live in that same habitat. The incident with the bald eagle is a perfect example of how humans have rectified their own problem they created. The greatest threat to the bald eagle's existence arose from the widespread use of DDT and other pesticides after World War II. DDT, and forgive me if I say this wrong, or dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane, was developed as the first synthetic insecticide in the 1950s. It helped fight against the insects that caused harmful diseases and was used to control insects in crop and livestock production institutions, homes, and gardens. It was sprayed on croplands throughout the country, and its residues washed into lakes absorbed by aquatic plants and small animals that were then eaten by fish. And the contaminated fish in turn were consumed by the bald eagles. The chemical interfered with the bald eagle's ability to develop strong shells for its eggs. As a result, bald eagles and many other bird species began laying eggs with shells so thin they often broke during incubation or never opened up at all. As the dangers of DDT became known, this chemical was banned for most uses in the United States in 1972. Now bald eagles are starting to produce successfully once again, and there is hope to bring animals and possibly plants back if they become endangered. So the whole point of this was we made a problem and then we fixed it, we found out what was wrong, and we made it better again. Farmers should be more aware of the local streams in the area and know its fertilizers could be potentially harmful to animals. They could also find alternate ways to produce good crops for growing season. Another way to prevent endangerment is to close off areas so nothing can harm the species habitat. Some that I know of, I don't know if any of you guys have been to Black Creek, but as you're walking on the trail, they have an entire section of their, I guess, their land, you could say, totally blocked off for the deer so they can produce correctly. And when I go on vacation in Cape Cod, there's a whole section of the beach that's totally blocked off by fencing for birds so they can produce successfully. So, and I'm sure lots of other places do the same thing everywhere. These are only a few of the many ways to fix the possible endangerment of species. So by keeping the actions of humans under control, plant and animal species of all kinds can survive, and humans can still do the necessary things to keep society running smoothly. With this being said, only good things can happen. All species of plants and animals, mostly animals, live happily and have what they need to survive. So be aware of where you're throwing your garbage because you could possibly harm plants and animals in the process. Be respectful of the areas that are blocked off for animals so they can properly recuperate. And as a hunter or fisherman, follow